Guess who's back? Back again. Here we go. Dangle Bet Celly. We got the GOAT in the house, Eric Young, with us here. Welcome to another edition of DBC live on our FTN Network YouTube page. Chris Meaney and Eric Young here with you guys. 8 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. We're going to break it all down, take your questions. We have some picks and props. We're going to dive into each of those games. We'll have some goal scores, of course. I would assume an 8-leg maniac parlay is on the way for Mr. EY, but welcome back, dude, man. It's been a long time. You're back on North American soil. I have missed you. Looks like you're rocking the Wild jersey tonight.
Yeah, I got the Kaprizov, rocking that. Really, it sucks for Dean Evanson, but really cool to see John Hines step in there, a coach that I've always liked. Obviously coached here in Nashville. I feel he got the kind of the short end of the stick here, but Minnesota on a bit of a comeuppance again. I mean, hockey's insane, and LA looked unbeatable a couple weeks ago, and now, like, are they wobbling? I don't know. Everything's nuts, and really glad to be back, man. I was on an amazing tour of the United Kingdom. I was way too busy for someone my age, which is a very good problem to have, but I traveled all over England, was in Wales, was in Ireland, was in Scotland, was in Barcelona. And a very cool thing, and it's not lost to me that I still get to do what I love the most in the world, and that's perform and be a professional wrestler. But look at, man, the number one thing, I don't think I can go that long without hockey. Hockey doesn't air until like 2 a.m. there, and I made time to see some games, but like I was just so busy, I barely got to see. Obviously, reading tons of stuff and following along and setting my lineups and doing all that stuff, but dude, it feels really, really good to be back, and I miss you. I miss you, maniacs.
Well, we missed you too, and we're glad to have you back. And I mean, hockey at 2 a.m. It's rough because I mean I'm watching until 2 a.m., but I don't know if I can watch till 5. Like, 'tis the season for me, and you and everybody else. It's a big sports fan. It's a lot going on in the world. You're following college football playoffs and NFL playoffs. We're going to see football playoffs start this week, and the NHL. It's all happening here. You mentioned the coaching fire. There's been another one. Berube is gone out of St. Louis. We've seen 3 coaching fires over the past couple of weeks, and ever since the Oilers made their change, they've been rolling, and the Wild have played much better as well. A couple slip-ups, I think, over the past couple games. The Blues are in action here tonight. I don't think I've showed you this jersey yet. How about this guy?
It's one of my favorites of all time.
Who do you think's on it, though?
Oh, I mean, that's Bure.
That's Pavel, man. Had to go Pavel. I was showing a buddy, showed a couple buddies like the jersey. He's like, why Pavel, man? This guy was one of my faves.
Man,
as a youngster,
what a player!
Great player. I remember living in BC in like '94, and my old man wanted to go see Pavel Bure play. I think I told you this story, maybe other people too. We went to Vancouver to watch the game, and Pat Quinn was the coach, and he benched Bure. Like, Bure played 2 shifts. It's like, Dad was just like, what the heck's going on? Why is this rookie getting benched from Pat Quinn? Like, what the heck? And it ended up being a big time win by the Leafs, like 9-2. Clark had a hat trick, a fight right in my corner. It was a pretty good game, but we were there to see Pavel Bure. We did not get to see him play really at all. We did get to see him a little bit later on when he was a member of the Panthers in like the early 2000s. But what a player. Kaprizov, what a player. Everybody, welcome back. Are the Kings slowing down? Evan's in the house. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that they are. They play this weird style of hockey. They're not a team that I don't feel like they're a team that can come back, like come from behind. I know they had a 2-0 lead in the first period. I thought they were awesome in the first period. They hardly gave up any chances. They were up 2-0 at home. And they had a brutal second period. I was all over the Velarde, Scheifele, and Ehlers line against the Sharks the night before. They did nothing. And then, of course, they just popped off. Like, I wrote them as a contrarian play in the DFS article, but I didn't even have them in my top few line stacks. And Velarde looked great against his former squad. Ehlers had a couple goals. Velarde's a guy that, he was all over the fantasy hockey draft kit. He got hurt early. I think he's like an immediate pickup. Like, even Nikolai Ehlers is owned in fewer than 50% of Yahoo leagues. Kyle Connor's going to miss the next 6 to 8 weeks. But Velarde is going to get an opportunity with Scheifele, with Ehlers, and he loves to shoot the puck. We had the over 1.5 yesterday for me. I think he had 3 or 4 shots on goal. That's just somebody to keep an eye on. What do you think about? I don't know how much you've watched for the Kings, but I still like all their analytical numbers are fantastic. Their 5-5 numbers are great. Quentin Byfield's on pace for 70 points. He's been unbelievable. Cam Talbot, I'm sure, will slow down at some point, but they just play this trap style of hockey where if they get a lead, for the most part, they keep it. But they're not a team that I don't think can run up and down the ice with most teams. I don't know. They just play a different style. I think they're fun.
Yeah, I think they're really diverse. I mean, they've got some guys that can really wheel, really, really skate. Then they got guys that are not fleet of foot, but all of those guys are really good players. I don't think there's maybe a better team in the NHL down the middle of the ice.
I would agree.
I mean, if you could name one, I'd love to hear it. They're just unbelievable. But in the end, you show me a good team. You show me a good goalie, I'll show you a good team. Do we trust Cam Talbot and Phoenix Copley to be good all the way through? And then more importantly, look at the Los Angeles Kings are making the playoffs. This team is unbelievable. Oh, yeah. Also, I put $20 on them to win the Stanley Cup, so they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
I think we all have futures from the Kings here on this show or at FTN. We're all on board.
Big time. Yeah. I mean, they weren't getting the respect that they should have been. I mean, the truth is the rich gets richer. Kopitar eventually retires. Byfield probably moves into the center ice position. He's been a center iceman most of his life. Then when they drafted him, he was a center iceman, and they have this luxury of being able to play him on the wing and get him seasoned. And goes to Barb Underhill, the skating guru. I mean, he was always a good skater, but I mean, dude, he's a completely different player this year. I mean, completely. He's just dominant. And you can really tell the size, if you watch footage from last year or whatever, when he skated. I don't know if it's the length of his stick or what it was, but stuff changed, obviously, with his stride, and how he stands. Like he is humongous, but he looks, I know that he didn't grow, he didn't get taller at 24 or whatever age he is, but he looks bigger. And that's a very good thing for the Los Angeles Kings. They're going to be fine, but man, the goaltending is terrifying. It's just terrifying.
Yeah, like Talbot has had these moments before where he's been good, and a couple softies I think last night. Mostly some defensive zone coverage, and there's a giveaway. Deneau had a giveaway turnover in the Winnipeg zone, 3-on-2 the other way. I think there's still some pretty good value on them. We have 22-1 for them to win the cup and the tracker, but 14-1 over at Bet Rivers I think is still pretty significant, like pretty solid number for them anyways. I think, once it comes down to the playoffs, as long as they don't play the Oilers again, I mean, guess it's possible. Edmonton is not going to be the number 1, number 2, 3 seed, I don't think. I know that they entered tonight on an 8-game winning streak, and they've outscored their opponents like 40-13 or something silly over that span. It could be like it could end up being LA and Edmonton again, a third year in a row. It could end up being Colorado and Edmonton in the first round, something like that, with maybe the Oilers just squeaking in. But let's get after it here today. I want to say what up to everybody here. We'll start with Troy, the Blue Jackets, and your Maple Leafs. It's happening tonight. Troy has been with us every step of the way, even with you gone. We have been talking about the Blue Jackets and them being in an unlucky squad. I thought we had a board here for them, and we do. So the Leafs are massive favorites here. The Leafs are starting to pile up a couple more regulation wins, but as Troy mentions there, I think he mentioned a little bit earlier here in the comment section, I think the Blue Jackets are going through something. That's for sure. But I thought he took a shot at oh yeah, here it is. Do not forget, Columbus has more regulation wins than the Leafs. The Leafs are playing pretty good, though. 6-1-3 in their last 10, 15-6-5. Had the slip up there against the Islanders. Tied it late, lost in overtime, but then spanked the Rangers the very next night. So they return home. What do you think of this game? I know you got some goal scorers. I'm sure you've watched a little bit of Toronto here and there. I think Marner's playing a little bit better lately. Nylander's been awesome all year, and Matthews is, I think, going at the right time as well. Pretty cool for Johnny T. Tavares to get the 1K against his former squad. That was a cool moment for him.
Yeah, really cool moment for them. Islanders fans are just never going to let it go. It's entertaining and sad, kind of, and there's at times. Look, I love Troy. And when I go out to that part of the country, we're definitely going to hang out, have some drinks, maybe catch a couple games.
Definitely.
But the Columbus Blue Jackets aren't in the same league as the Toronto Maple Leafs, man. I'm just sorry. They're just not. And regulation wins or whatever, what's the old saying is they don't ask you how, they ask you how many. And we're talking about points. Me and you had a little conversation before this started about a fantasy football league that we're in, about my record being more. You can have as many regulations wins as you want, but in the end, they decide who goes into the playoffs by how many points, and Columbus isn't making the playoffs. Look at Fantilli is a stallion. I love this Marashenko player. I have him on our salary cap dynasty league. Vorkunov. Troy's been telling us about this guy for feels like 2 years. You know, that's what it feels like. And he's awesome. I mean, it doesn't compute in my brain because I'm old that a Russian player can play that way. But he's tough and he's mean and he's physical and he's worked his way up already in this lineup. And part of that is, you know, everybody being out and being hurt and missing players. The chance that they have is the reality is the best goaltender, Joseph Wall, is out, and we don't know for how long. Samsonov this year has been absolutely brutal, and Martin Jones hasn't been good in what feels like a decade. So, can the Columbus Blue Jackets beat the Toronto Maple Leafs? Of course, it's the NHL, and the salary cap still exists, and this is what the NHL wants every team to be able to compete every night. But if I'm betting, and I will be, the Maple Leafs, I'm not going to put money on this game because the odds are terrible, right? There's no way to win, but I'll probably include it in a parlay of some kind. On the Columbus side, I'm following, putting my money where my mouth is. I'm going with Marashenko and Vorkunov. Vorkunov is playing on, I don't know if that's how you say it. Vorkunov?
Yeah.
Right
yeah.
Okay. He's centering the second line, and most importantly, he's centering the top power play.
Yeah, he's on the top.
He's plus 410 on FanDuel. I starred him because I will bet on him to score because of the ice time that he's getting and the players he's playing with. Man, this is right now he's a very important player for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, he is, and that line, like Chinnikov and Marchenko, like they're. I mean, you're right. Troy's been talking about them quite a bit, and I've watched a few of their games, and when they're together, there's some chemistry there. Like they're all pretty big boys. You know, they get in heavy on the forecheck. They can throw their body around too, and they got some heavy shots. So interesting. Fantilli with a pretty good opportunity here too, right? With Boone Jenner sideline for the next little bit.
He's going to be a stud for years.
He is, yeah. And a real opportunity for him is just, I feel like the Blue Jackets always have their lines and blenders, even when Jenner was there in a blender. It's just, even today, looking like Line and Kent Johnson. Why is Kent Johnson needs more money? Like free Kent Johnson? Like, Troy, you're going to trade Kent Johnson, move him somewhere, or give him some more ice time? It's been a weird year for Columbus. They're at the bottom of the Metro. They've allowed over 100 goals. They're scrappy. They hang around in a lot of games. They've blown some late leads. They give up a lot of high quality chances. So Elvis has to keep them in a lot of their games. The Leafs kind of play down to their opponents here and there, coming back home. I think that they'll win. I'm with you. Like it's just too juiced to get behind the money line. Even for them to win in 60 is minus 190. So I'll probably stay away from some of the sides. It seems like I think the Leafs will win this game by a couple goals. I think it could be an empty netter or something like that. I like Matthews. I feel like he's, for the most part, he's been pretty consistent, right? He started off the season really, really slow, really hot, and then there was a cooling down period for him. But man, I watched the other night against the Islanders when he had like 15 shot attempts. I like him for 2 points tonight. Like he's on that run again. Like, and don't get me wrong, he's been great really all year. 21 goals is phenomenal, right? Him and Brock Besser up at the top. But the last 3 games, got 5 goals, got a goal in 3 straight games, got 3 multi-goal games over his last 5 as well. He's coming off a 4-point game. He's got 14 shots on goal over his last 3. He had the 11 there against the Islanders. He had 7 against the Bruins a few games ago as well. So I like Matthews tonight. I got him in the tracker for a 2-point night at plus 120. And shot props have just been so awful to attack because it's just been so juiced and everybody's bumped up. But that's one that I kind of lean yes to the check mark for him to get 5 shots here tonight. Okay, Joey Wright in the house. What's going on? Good sir. Speaking of Flex League, Joey and is in the playoffs, I do believe. I'm going to my first NHL game live January 11th
That's
in
awesome.
Las Vegas at the
What a
Bruins and the
game.
Golden Knights. Oh man, to see your first NHL game too in Vegas,
Yep.
fantastic, man.
Joey, welcome to the addiction, my friend. Welcome to the
You're
addiction.
gonna be hooked. You're gonna be hooked
100%.
From then on out, man. Yeah, I've been to like a ton of barns around the ice, around the NHL. I'm all over the place here. A good 20 probably, and Vegas would be my top 3. Like,
Yep.
I would honestly say Montreal, Vegas, and Nashville are like the top 3 for me. I've never been to MSG, and I know that one would be inside the top 4 or 5 for me as well. It's on the bucket list. I got to go sometime, but man, Las Vegas, they just do it right, man. And who would have thought hockey works there pretty easily? Hockey works there, man.
I'm going to go on January 14th. We're going to be there for tapings at the Palms, and going to get to go see the Preds play in Vegas on the 14th. So pretty pumped about that.
That should be a pretty good one for you too as well. Everyone's saying welcome back. They're ready for the Maniac parlay. What's your favorite goal scorer in this game tonight, Blue Jackets and Leafs?
I mean, right now, because of the odds, it's Vorkunov. I mean, like on FanDuel, he's 4-10. He's centering the top power play. He's going to stand in front of the net. I mean, the puck could go off him and go in the net. He's been doing pretty well offensively, centering the second line as well. Like it wouldn't be weird for him to play 20 minutes tonight, right? I mean,
no, it wouldn't. I'm certainly going to be there. Okay,
yeah.
let's move on from that one.
I think Matthews scores as well, dude. He's been flying. He looks so good right now.
What's the odds for a couple goals for him tonight? Like he's minus 125.
He's negative 120 on FanDuel, but I got him in the 8-way parlay just because I
plus 750 for first goal. We hit Morgan Geekie last night. How about that? We have plus in the tracker. I'll tell you what, it's been a real struggle the past couple of days with some props. But Morgan Geekie plus 480 for a goal and 30-1 for a first goal. Like maybe that's a sign of things to come here, hopefully for us. But that was up on the top. I was like, he's playing with Pasternak. You know, he's going to get a boost in ice time. Yeah, maybe he can find a goal. I still didn't believe it when he scored that first goal. For him to get a couple here tonight, it's not even like plus 480. Morgan Geekie plus 485 for 1 goal. Austin Matthews plus 480 for 2 goals. So anyways, we'll move on here. Let's go over to St. Louis. We mentioned Berube gone. Coaching change there. Does this light a fire under the Blues? I don't know. Potentially. We have seen this happen before in the NHL.
It usually does, right? First couple games.
Yeah, it usually does. I would have had the Sens firing their coach first, but here we are. The Blues are kind of hanging around. Like their 5-5 numbers are not fantastic. They're 13-4-1. You know, so basically a 500 squad here, but they do have a negative 14 goal differential. They're one of just 3 teams inside the Central with a negative goal differential, and they lost 4 straight. I think, 3 wins in their last 10 games, and I think just at home was the final straw for the management. They're at home in their last game against Detroit, who had played the night before in Dallas and lost. And we're heading into their barn without Larkin, without JT Compher, their top 2 centers, and they lost. I believe a lot of people on the show did like St. Louis to win that game.
Right.
And I agree. Somehow the Blues made a change before the Sens. Crazy stuff. Neighbors on top of that top line has been really good, really noticeable to me. They got Jordan Kyrou up on that top line. I do have Jordan Kyrou for a point tonight at minus 130, but I'm going to Josh Norris. I got Josh Norris for a point at minus 130. I got Josh Norris for 3 shots tonight at minus 120. Both of those in the tracker. Norris's points in 3 of his last 4. 2 of them have been goals. He's been shooting as well. He's got 13 shots in his last 3 games, has at least 3 shots on goal in 5 of his past 6. And 6 is past 8. So ice time is there. Blues give up a lot. Do they tighten up tonight with just the coaching change? I don't think so. There could be a fire under certain players tonight. Maybe, the captain and Shen and Kyrou maybe gets going. Maybe that, I don't know. Maybe the lines are shuffled up a little bit as well, because it's possible, right? I mean, it's a new blood here behind the bench. What do you like from this game?
I'm still a believer in DJ Smith and the Ottawa Senators, and I know I don't have anything to back that up, but I still like this
DJ
team.
Smith is out to lunch. That guy needs to go, man. I think he needs to go.
And he's gonna be. I mean, I believe that. I mean, I think the players like him, but I mean, the truth is like the results are just not there. And this is, I believe, on paper, still a very good team with tons of talent. On the Ottawa side, I'm going Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle. On the St. Louis side, I'm going Jordan Kyrou. Not great results, but I mean, he's shooting the puck. It's going to go. I believe if this team is going to be good, it's going to have to go through him and Rob Thomas, right? They're the two best players on the team. And Jordan Kyrou, I think, offensively is by far the best player on this team.
He needs to wake up.
He needs to wake up. I mean, he's asleep at the wheel. And I think, like, it's not for lack of effort. It's not for lack of being in the right place. If you look statistically, like, he's putting rubber on the net. It's just not going for him. He's been a little bit snake bit this year. And I'm going to go Buchnevich as well.
Yeah, I like the Buchnevich call. Kyrou, 5 goals in the season, right? 89 shots. Probably a pretty good buy low candidate in season-long leagues. He's shooting 5%, 5.6%. He's never been, the last 4 years, he's never been below 10%. Like, for his career, he's at 12. So, I mean, 37 goals last year, 27 the year before that. He is a sniper. I liked seeing him up on that top line with Robert Thomas in the last game with Neighbors, and they took Buchnevich off that line. So we'll see what happens. Robert Thomas for an assist has been pretty solid for most of the year. I mean, he's got 17 assists here through 28 games. You mentioned the last time we saw you. I mean, you talked about how he's shooting the puck. I think it's a bit of a risky play, but he is plus money for 3 shots tonight, and he does have 3 shots in 3 straight games, 3, 4, and 5. The ice
it's
time
not his first instinct, right? But I mean, he has shot the puck a lot more this year. They're asking him to do it, and he's doing what he can for sure.
He had 106 shots last year in 73 games.
Right.
It's a little over a shot per game. He's got 63 and 28, right? Which is he's going to shatter the 106 that he had from last season. And he's playing more. He's averaging 20 minutes and 35 seconds per game. Last year, he averaged 19-21. And you just go look at the back of the hockey card. I mean, it's been 20 plus minutes now and, 8 straight games, 22, 23 here and there. He's minus 103. Minus 104 for an assist tonight. It's a weird number. Minus 110 over at Bet365 for an assist. Again, plus 135 for 3 shots. You could see it. And I do like Neighbors. I know it's, it hasn't been super consistent. The points haven't been. But plus 115 for a point, getting that opportunity, getting that ice time, playing against a Sens team that is just so inconsistent with their goaltending. I feel like the Blues may be pretty hungry tonight for a goal or two. So I'll go Josh Norris. I'm with you on Kyrou. I like the Robert Thomas assist. I like the Neighbors point. And who do you think wins the game? Do you like the Blues at home with the coaching change?
I think with the coaching change and them at home that they're going to win. I mean, Ottawa's just been so inconsistent. And I mean, for me, and I think Ottawa Senators fans really disappointing. But I think, most of the time you see this. The new coach comes in, maybe players that were in the doghouse or players that weren't, getting the ice time that they think they should. And every player in the NHL can say whatever you want. They all believe that they should be playing on the first line. They all believe it. And they're all good enough too. It's just kind of comes down to coach's selection. At this point, they're playing for new roles, right? I mean, it's exciting. Whether you like Berube or not, whether you agreed with Berube or not, as a player, a new coach means, opportunity. And I think tonight we see St. Louis jump all over that.
It's amazing, Berube. I mean, he got them their 1 cup 5 years ago. And if you remember, he took over. I know you remember. We were doing 4-sack lines at the Athletic. And we talked about them it was probably one of the better calls I've ever made. And it was just lucky, I guess. It was just like 33-1 for them to win the cup. I remember them being dead last at January. And then Bennington turned over. They won like 7 or 8 games in a row. And they were still 33-1. It's like, looking like they were going to make the playoffs. I never ever believed it, but it's like a small sprinkle on the Blues maybe. And they just went off. And he obviously went from interim head coach to—
it's a miracle run, and it's never happened in the NHL, and it likely never will. I think the percentage of being in last place and making it into the playoffs is like, it's less than like, I want to say it was 86% chance that you don't make the playoffs.
And all of their players were they were a good team heading into the season. Everyone was considering them as a playoff squad, but they all started off very slow, right? Like I remember you and I talking about Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko and all these guys as buy low candidates. And then they just took off in the second half, but it was mostly Binnington, and he's played pretty good this season too. Like Jordan Binnington he's not the reason the Blues are 500.
No.
They've given up a lot of quality chances and a lot of shot attempts and shots, but Binnington for the most part, has been pretty solid for them. Anyways, did you see, well, this is a sidebar question here, but Tkachuk was on the board. Did you see Tkachuk's penalty shot the other night when he ended up getting a penalty? The goalie poke checked him, Kochetkov. He went out of skates. I could see both sides of it. Had the conversation last night. It was kind of a heated conversation at our beer league game last night with our goalie. And we were talking about it. And one of the guys was saying, like, if a goalie did that to me, I would be effing pissed. Like going down full tilt and him just, diving basically at my skates. Yep. And Tkachuk went into the boards pretty heavy. But at the same time, like, you're allowed to poke check. And you could say that he's going for the puck or not. It didn't look like he was going for the puck, but he took his feet out. The goalie was just like, man, fair game, whatever. You guys are coming at us full tilt all the time in the blue, in the paint. You don't think I should be able to come out and poke check at the feet? So I don't know. Do you have a side? Are you on Kochetkov? Are you on?
Yeah, I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I mean, it depends. Just as you outlined it at your beer league game, it depends on your point of view.
Yeah,
he has the right to go after the puck, right? I think if he hits the puck with his stick and pokes it away and then the player goes down, that's a completely legal play within the rules.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. It's fair game. I mean, you're looking right at him, right? You're looking right at him.
The only thing, when I think about that, I remember Hasek and was it Gavrikov? No, who was it? Anyways, Hasek went full tilt at somebody at the hash marks. And Buddy flipped over like 2 or 3 times. Like I thought that, like that's a penalty. You can't be coming out near the blue and taking somebody's feet from under them. That's a penalty. But a penalty shot for a poke check, man, it's another story, I guess, for another day. We'll continue to move on here. But I thought that was pretty interesting, and we'll see what happens next time Ottawa plays Carolina, because I know Brady Tkachuk will not forget about that.
Nope.
Florida, Vancouver. This might be the game of the night. There's another one too that should be a good one, but Canucks here at home and the Florida Panthers. We were on Seattle on this show. One of the couple things that we did get right, we had the Kraken as home dogs at plus 150. They ended up shutting out the Panthers. I didn't see that coming. I thought we would have to sweat that one out. It was a 1-0 game here into the third, and it got the Kraken pulled away in that game. Florida's been really good though. Basically all year, and so has Vancouver. So it should be really good. You got the Canucks second in the Pacific at 19-9-1. They've scored 111 goals, which is the most in the Western Conference and actually in the NHL. Do you know who scored the second most goals in the NHL, by the way? Want to just guess? It's in the East.
Frank Vatrano?
No, a team.
Oh,
Vancouver scored the most. Do you know a team? It's in the East, and it's a bit surprising. It's an Atlantic squad. No, it's the Red Wings.
Oh, geez, I would have never guessed that.
Right. They have played a couple more games than some teams, but they have 106 goals for this season, which is remarkable. That a lot of their guys are punching above their weight. Like their shooting percentage is pretty high. We did touch it on that on Tuesday's episode. But the Canucks are number one here. Also, a couple of dudes that have a high shooting percentage, like Brock Besser, but he continues to score goals left, right, and center. And then the Florida Panthers, they are also in second in their division. They have 36 points. They're 17-9-2. They've scored 85 goals, not as much. We have a total here of 6.5, and we have the Canucks as slight favorites. Actually, you can get them at plus 105 over at Bet365, and the Florida Panthers, I guess, are slight favorites at most books. I see Vancouver minus 105 over at DraftKings, but the best price at Bet365 plus 105, and for Florida at DraftKings at minus 115. This one should be a fun one, man. I think we'll see some goals. We'll see some offense in it. What you got?
Yeah, it should be a really fun game. Sam Reinhart, I mean, this is a guy that we've loved since he played in Buffalo. Like, we've talked about him a ton. I mean, if you're asking me, I mean, this has come up with us over the last 5 or 6 years. Does it surprise you that he's playing his best hockey during a contract year? Right? It's not lost on these players, right? This is how they make a living, and when they're going to be the most important time to be evaluated with your statistics and your stats is the year that you're up to make the big money. And well, here we go again. And it's awesome. We've always loved Reinhart. He's a really good player. I got him to score plus 165 and Matthew Tkachuk at plus 200. On the Vancouver side, Elias Pettersson is becoming the player that everyone thought he was going to be. I love watching this guy play hockey, man. He's just so slick with the puck, really good on his edges. It, like, a lot of the times it doesn't even look like he's trying, right? Like, he's just one of those super smooth, kind of elusive skaters. Still really little. Like, I mean, not height-wise, but like he even with his equipment on, he just looks so thin and slight, but it doesn't really matter. Nobody can touch him. Love watching him as a player. And Brock Besser is a guy I've loved for a long time. You know, coming in as a rookie, won the NHL All-Star MVP, like most, you know, the accuracy shooting thing with the discs, and like, dude, like, this guy can just fire the puck. It looks differently when it comes off of his stick. You know, he's in that upper echelon of like OV and, you know, really top end shooters. Brock Besser is right there. When you see the puck come off of his stick, even to an untrained eye, it just looks different. And Rick Tocchet's like, man, that's what you're good at. So that's what you're going to do. And that's the position he plays on the power play, the number one power play. That's the position he plays on the top six. And here we are. This is the exact player that Brock Besser should have been. This is what he should have always been doing. And Rick Tocchet's got him in a position to be the best version of himself, because he's playing where he should and playing on the side he should, and is being asked to shoot the puck. And man, it's awesome. And the proof's in the pudding. Plus 160. He's the other guy.
I like Barkov tonight. I see some people talking about it. I have this in the tracker too. I'm seeing the best price over at Bet Rivers, guys, for Barkov. I think Adam brought it up. Yeah, 2.5 shots. Don't understand the price for it. Bet Rivers has got minus 114. DK's minus 130. Caesars has minus 135. Also like him for an assist tonight at plus 105. I like JT Miller for an assist at minus 110. I am going to continue to ride this thing out with Brock Besser to score goals. I mean, most players across the league are streaky, but he is just feeling it right now. So it's like a same game parlay with Brock Besser and JT Miller, or maybe you got a goal for Brock and an assist for JT Miller. I like the defenseman to be active tonight. I think we'll see a fun game with some goals. I think we will see more of an open game than we did when Florida played Seattle the other night. So I do have a lean to the over 6.5. I'm going to lean with the Panthers to bounce back and win this hockey game tonight. But I think we'll see some goals like Verhaeghe, Besser, Miller assist, Barkov assist, Barkov 3 shots, Quinn Hughes 3 shots. And I like Montour as well for 3 shots. And I know he hasn't been the same type of player that we saw in the playoffs. I've seen spurts. The other night he had 9 attempts and 6 shots.
Right.
It's going to take time. 12 games, only got 2 assists. But I think the most encouraging thing that I'm seeing, wow, people are actually dropping him in fantasy hockey. You waited all this long. Just be patient, guys. Man, the season is – don't be dropping these kind of players until like January.
Unless you're playing in a league with me, you can drop them.
He only has 2 assists, but 23, 25, like a bunch of ice time for him, 6 shots, 5 shots. It's been kind of hit or miss, but the attempts have been there. So, I mean, I don't mind it as at minus 130, but Barkov is probably the best kind of guy for this. I'm going to do a couple same game parlays in the tracker with a lot of the big boys to pick up points. And we'll probably tease down the shots a little bit. Maybe a bunch of these guys to have 2 shots tonight. I'm thinking Besser, Quinn Hughes, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe. You can maybe get like a 3-1, 4-1 with some of these guys. Hammerhead Union's squad this year is the Canucks. He's got the Canucks in 60. I think this Canucks, this is gonna be a great game. I think this should be a good one. Future Cup matchup. I don't know if the Canucks make the Stanley Cup Finals, but I can see Florida getting back. This is what I'm here for. LA or Dallas. I feel like I'm all in on LA or Dallas. Those are the two cup futures that I have personally. Evan Reinhart and Besser goals. Reinhart deserves it. Richard's in the house says, good morning, fellas. EY, thanks for the Yahoo Fantasy Hockey beatdown last week. I guess you took it to him.
I'll say fantasy wise, I'm hockey. It's off to it. I mean, it's a long season. I'm off to a very good start in most of my leagues. Football, I mean, this might be my most dominant year yet. And the only league
I'm having a pretty good year
is the one that we talked about earlier, where
I didn't make wins. that.
Yeah.
So you had more wins than Jake Seeley. Let's call him out. You had more wins than Jake Seeley, and Seeley had more points than you. So he gets in. But it's a different league where you play your opponent and you play everybody in the league. So you can go 2-0, you can go 1-1, you can go 0-2.
Yep.
So it eliminates that.
To me
is love the format.
Yeah, it's a really cool format. And Jake answered me, and look at it.
What did you say?
Like Jake or hate Jake, whatever. I know one thing for sure is he's an honest person. He's a very good man, and he's laid it out. I mean, those are the rules. You know, it's clearly stated in the thing. And I'm in too many leagues to know all the rules. And I mean, to me, it's stupid. I told him it's stupid. We're saying you're doing the double win thing, right? Where you play the guy that you're playing and play the whole league. So you're telling me the most important thing in this league is wins. That's what you're telling me. And then last minute, with the last person to get in, they get in on how many points to go. I get like maybe in fairness, but if we're going to do points, then just do points, right? If that's what we're doing, then I'm way out of the playoffs because I don't think I scored very many points. But the truth is it's done by wins, and I have more wins, and I should be in the playoffs. Those aren't the rules, and they should be changed. And you'll never change my mind on it. The points thing makes no sense, especially with the double win system. You're telling me the most important thing is wins. I have more wins than you. It's the end of the discussion.
Yeah, you should be in. I was pretty surprised to see that he has more points, but you have more wins. And again, even though it's maybe I could see like head to head with you playing an opponent every week and then your league, which I really do like. I think more people should take that on in their leagues because it does eliminate, like in one league, I see somebody has the second most points, but they've allowed the most points and they're not going to make the playoffs. Like it does eliminate that kind of stuff because you drafted a good team. You should be rewarded. You've just had bad beats mostly all year. But if you lose to your opponent, and then you beat everybody else in the league, then you get another win. So at least 6 of the 12, you would get another W there. Yeah, the hockey league, Dangle Bet Celly is pretty competitive. I am up at the top at 6-1. EY, you're tied for second with Shammy. Shout out to Shammy. Shammy, EY, Hockey Psychos, and Ose Can Jose, which I love that name. All 4-2-1. We got Hammerhead, which Cooch's Corner and Cherry Pickers at 4-3. So it is really competitive, and there's a long way to go yet in the Dangle Bet Celly Hockey League. Hammerhead, now you're just being a moron here, buddy, with the Eagles. The Eagles bust Hurts. Choke Hurts. I mean, isn't Hurts quarterback 2 in fantasy? I think he's number 2. Yeah, big bust, man. Big bust, Jalen Hurts. AJ Brown, top 5 wide receiver. Big bust. Big bust. We'll keep going here. Let's go to Edmonton. The Oilers playing really good.
Yep.
Really good hockey, right? Eight straight wins. Man,
this is better for the league.
Oh, of course, right? We need to see this.
They have to make the playoffs. Everybody that loves hockey should be cheering for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes, we want to see the Oilers in the
playoffs, and you want people to be interested in maybe the 2 best. If you want to argue, you mean semantics, whatever. The 2 best players in the league are Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. If they're not the best 2, they're for sure in the top 5. You want them playing the most amount of games with the most amount of eyes on them. They have to be in the playoffs. This makes the NHL better.
Leon, I feel like I don't feel like he's found his game. McDavid certainly has. And the other night when I watched against the Blackhawks, and we did have this, we did sweat out for them to win by 3 goals. They just won by 3 goals, I think. Is a 4-1 victory. We did get a few things right in this game, like McDavid and we've been hammering this top line, like Hyman assists and Nugent Hopkins assists. We had Evan Bouchard for an assist. We talked about the power play assist for him. He's just been on such a run as well. I think he's got points in 12 straight games or something silly like that. And McDavid has points. You got to go all the way back to November 18th, the last time he hasn't had a point. And it's not just a point. I mean, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a 10-game point streak. And 8 of those games, he's had at least 2 points. And 1 game with 4, 1 game with 5, 2 others with 3. So, I mean, he's feeling at the moment, but I feel like Draisaitl's game's kind of lost. And I just think it's the reason I think that is because he's playing with Evander Kane and Connor Brown. It's straight up. That's how I feel. He's playing with Evander Kane and Connor Brown. Kane's had some nice moments. Connor Brown is just not a top 6 player. And when they load up McDavid and Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, like that's the line, right? That's the line that's getting all this offense. And they're contributing. I'm sure at some point, maybe if this top line slows down, they try to put Draisaitl with somebody. They always mix these things up a little bit, but this is the line to attack. Ryan Nugent Hopkins assist, Hyman assist plus money, Hyman shots, Evan Bouchard assist. I mean, McDavid 2 points. What are you going to say? But on the other side, Tampa Bay, I'm not impressed, man. I'm not impressed with their game at all. Like Kucherov's been great. Cirelli's had some moments. Vasilevsky's just kind of getting his feet wet for a couple weeks here back. But he hasn't been super consistent either. I'm going to continue to ride with the Oilers. I'm going to continue to ride with the Oilers here, taking them at home. And I do like goals. I think we're going to see some. So I'm taking the over 6.5 as well.
I'm taking Edmonton here too. Tampa Bay side, I've got Kucherov and Stamkos. Cirelli, I get, has been playing really well. Nick Paul may be their most consistent and best player this season, other than Kucherov. Edmonton, McDavid at plus 110. If you're going to give me plus odds on McDavid at any point, I'm playing it. Right, I'm playing it, and I'm including him in the Maniac parlay. And I'm going to go Evander Kane. And again, he's on the second power play. You know, he's on that second line. But Evander Kane scores goals. That's what they want him to do. He's the shooter on that second line. I would love to see him playing some more on the top power play. But he's not right now because he's not been playing that great. But I think he scores here too.
Okay. Yes, Hyman is plus money. Adam is Shammy. I should have known that. Shemansky. I should have known that one. He does talk about the plus money at over 3.5. That's been the most consistent Oiler in terms of shots, right? And a lot of them are kind of rebounds, but we know that McDavid wants to pass the puck. Like in tight, circling around on the power play. He's not really shooting. It's kind of Bouchard and Draisaitl or Hyman in front of the net. Ryan Nugent Hopkins, same sort of deal. He wants to pass the puck as a playmaker there. I could see this. I don't want to jinx anything. I did say it on Tuesday, but we do have Evan Bouchard at over 58 points in the tracker. He's at 30 through 26 games, and we have him at 10-1 for an 80-point season. Man, the way that he is going right now, there was a question brought up on Tuesday about him potentially winning the Norris. I don't think he can leapfrog Quinn Hughes or Cale Makar. The defensive game is just not as tight for Evan Bouchard. I'm just going to give it to him for points. I don't believe. But he is he's a rock solid fantasy hockey defenseman, a top 5 guy for sure. Top 3. You can make a case for him after Makar and after Hughes. And we're starting to lose some of the value on him when it comes to the assists, but it's still minus 120 is pretty solid. And he does like to shoot the puck. I mean, minus 166 is a lot of juice there, but I'd say he gets another point or two tonight. Hammerhead Union's telling us to be careful. It's not, it's a good take. You know, Tampa is one of those teams that could easily end this streak tonight, but I'm just going to go with, I'm going to go with the hot hand here, the Oilers at home, and we'll get going. Pascal, holy shit, EY is back. Let's go. Yeah, I think we're going to get this one. And I would agree with you, Hammerhead, that Quinn seems to be in the driver's seat when it comes to the Norris Trophy. He's having a hell of a season, and his defensive game is underrated. Man, what a player. All the Hughes guys. Exactly. I don't know if you were able to catch the Vancouver and New Jersey game, seeing all 3 of them on the ice together.
I didn't get to catch the game, but obviously, following along, and such a cool thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't pay attention enough, but whatever the 43, 43, 86 thing blew my mind.
Yeah, me too. I had no, like, is that a thing that it doesn't seem like a thing they plan, like, because Quinn's in the league first, Jacket's in, I don't know, man. Like, did Luke pick that number because it adds up?
It blew my mind.
Yeah,
it blew
I
my
dig
mind.
it. They probably, I'd say maybe they planned it. I just don't know how they could plan something like that. Maybe I guess they
I don't know how that happens without it being planned. Like,
right. Quinn uses the number, Jack uses the number and says, like, well, Luke, when you get in, you take it.
43 is a weird number, 86 is a weird number. And the first one to play in the league took 86, and the next two guys take 43. Like, someone needs to ask these guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are we waiting on?
All right, we got a fantasy hockey question. I'll timestamp it here for the people. We got a couple more games we're going to get out of here. Troy said somebody dropped Igor Shesterkin in his league. Should he pick him up? He had to drop Demko or Ingram. He had an immediate pickup.
That's tough.
But you got to pick him up. You can't have Shesterkin on the waiver wire. You just can't. You got to take advantage of this.
You pick him up. You start him when you really believe in the Rangers, and package him with another player for a superstar player. Igor Shesterkin is a top 5 goalie in the league. I get right now he's something right now, but he will figure it out. The Rangers are a really good hockey team. They're going to win a bunch of games. Igor Shesterkin is going to turn back into Igor Shesterkin. If you're saying, do I bet who's going to be better for the rest of the year, Igor Shesterkin or Connor Ingram? I mean, there is no debate. I look at the Connor Ingram story is awesome. A guy that played here, a guy that I've met in person, that had his own personal struggles and figured that out. And a lot of like the goalie union people have been talking about Connor Ingram since he played in Nashville about this guy's got every tool, this, that, and the other. He just got to get out of his own way. And we're seeing it. Vomilka last year was a really good goalie, and Ingram has just taken that net from him and said, nope, this is mine. It belongs to me. And he's one of the best goalies in the league right now. If you're asking me to bet on who's going to end with better statistics, Igor Shesterkin, Vezina Trophy winner and one of the best goalies in the league, or Connor Ingram for the Phoenix or Arizona Coyotes, there is no debate.
Troy, if you've been, I think you are a fan of the fantasy hockey articles over at FTN Fantasy, and I have had Ingram in there for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I have a lot of shares of him as well. I do believe in the talent, like UI said. I think he's a really good goalie. He's definitely won that net, but you can't have Igor on the waiver wire. I would try to, can you drop somebody else? Can you drop a fourth defenseman that you don't love? Can you drop an extra forward that you don't love? Ride these 3 goalies. Maybe sell high on Ingram. Make Ingram available to your league mates. Make Demko available to your league mates. Hold Igor. When he gets going, you can sell high on him. But once he gets going, you'll probably just want to hold on to him. I don't like to hold 3 goalies. But I wouldn't want to have one of my league mates pick up Igor Shesterkin. There's got to be a couple other people in your league that are hurting. Go look at the Quick. I'm sure Quick owned and Igor is not owned. Like, go look at the Quick owner and say, hey, do you want the Rangers duo here for the rest of the year? They're going to win 40 games from here on out, maybe 30. I don't know. And you can just bolster the rest of your squad that way. That's the way I would do it. And then Lee, quick thing here, football. Is Zamir White worth a desperation start for Pacheco? I think, Lee, this is extremely risky. I would assume this is your first semifinals in your fantasy football playoff matchup. I can't say with confidence that Zamir White is going to get 15 plus carries. I would assume yes, with Jacobs not playing tonight against the Chargers with their backup quarterback, no Keenan Allen, a game at home. I would assume, but it's hard to assume these sort of things with backup running backs. We could see Amir Abdullah. I don't know what else is available to you, Lee. If you want to just message me in the chat here, you could follow up with a couple other running backs that are available or a couple other like starter sit issues that you have. We're going to dive into some start and sit, and we'll get into that game on Main Streets in a couple hours over here at FTN Network, so we can dive into that. But I think it's a pretty risky play, but you do need a backup plan because I don't believe Pacheco is going to play. And I would assume McKinnon or CEH are probably already picked up there. Good luck with that play, what you're going to do. Okay. I think you got to play somebody else besides Zamir White. Anybody else. But I could see a 15 touch. You're going to get the goal line work. I could see it. I don't think there'll be much points scored in that game, but I could see it. Okay, where are we at? UI, what haven't we talked about? What game?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Washington, Philly.
Let's go to Philly. Had the Flyers against your Preds. Had them. Forsberg had the overtime winner. We were just gushing on Tuesday's episode of how good the Flyers have been playing, and John Tortorella at like 9-1 for Jack Adams, Coach of the Year. Maybe a little bit of a sprinkle in there as well. Sean Couturier playing really good. The Capitals finding ways to win games somehow. Mostly Lindgren has played really good. Kemper's had some moments. Waiting for you to tell me that Ovechkin is completely dust. He does not look great this season. He's on pace for 25 goals, I think.
Yes.
And I don't even know if he gets there. I'm not even sure if he does get there.
Remember when I talked about this?
Would you buy low on Ovechkin? He could certainly be had. He's a guy that's actually getting dropped in 18 leagues. Ovechkin.
I mean, it depends on like what you have to give up. I mean, I still think he's going to score goals, right? I mean, I'm still on the thing that he's not going to beat Gretzky's record. He's not going to get better at hockey, guys. He's not. He's one of my favorite players to ever play in the NHL. One of my favorite.
He looks slow. But so does everybody else on the team. Like the team
is not good.
How are they winning?
They are not good. He's done one thing from one spot and dominated for over a decade and deserves all the roses. Maybe the best pure goal scorer to ever play in the league.
Definitely.
The numbers are not comparable. People the goalies were wearing newspapers when Gretzky played, right? Like, I mean, there is no comparison to the goaltending position then and now. There is no comparison. You can argue the same thing. It's like, oh, well, there's no comparison in the stick technology and the skating ability and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Way more people scored 30-plus goals in the 80s and 90s than score now. It's super rare for people to score 50 goals now. There was 25 guys scoring 50-plus goals back then, right? It's just a completely different era. Which, if you really break it down, doesn't make sense. You couldn't pass the puck over two lines. You know, the goalies could play it anywhere on the ice. You could literally hold a person. Like, you could literally grab onto them with your arms and hold on to them and not get a penalty. But it's just the truth. The proof is in the numbers. Washington,
they're going to win tonight, no?
I do have no.
The Flyers are going to win tonight. That's what I'm saying.
Ovi to score at 145. Again, 145 for Alex Ovechkin to score a goal is nuts, but this is the world we're living in. I'm going to put Oshie in there at 360 because I don't know who else to pick because the Washington Capitals are brutal. Philadelphia is a surprise. John Tortorella is a great coach, and anyone that says that he's not is just not paying attention. You know, Konechny at 170 and Forrester at plus 300.
I like Forrester
playing on that top line, playing on the top power play. Love it.
Yeah, I like Forrester as well. Is there any like point props? Adam says the Flyers have sucked me in. The downfall is inevitable for him, for the Flyers. It is strange that they're winning games, the Capitals, because they're not scoring goals. Like, they've scored 64 goals this season. They have a -8 goal differential, but they're 14-8-3. They have 31 points. The Flyers are ahead of them. They've played 3 more games than Washington. They have been getting good goaltending. I just, when I watch them, that's how I feel like they win games, because I don't ever feel like they're a team that just really takes it to another squad. Their 5-5 numbers are okay. They don't give up a lot, but they are getting some goaltending, and I think Charlie Lindgren's been a really nice story for them overall. He's had a nice campaign, but Ovechkin sitting here, like, if you told me that Ovechkin would have 5 goals and 16 points for the first 25 games, I'd be like, oh man, the Capitals are probably dead last in the NHL. Like, how are they getting any offense? Kuznetsov's been a healthy scratch. He's not doing much. Backstrom's not playing. Oshie's back in the lineup, like you said. So, yeah, interesting. I'm on the Flyers tonight. I think that they win the game. It should be Carter Hart. He didn't get to play. You know, I didn't like that he didn't get the start against Nashville, but no excuses. The Preds were good in that game. They came back and won it. Forster is.
I don't know if the Preds were good. I watched that game, and the truth is they just got outplayed. almost every
I
minute
thought
of
so
the
too,
game.
but I thought that they had a strong third. I thought that they had a little bit of a better third.
They did have a strong third, and this is a team that, I mean, it's just not going to generate a ton of offensive chances. They made the most of the ones. They ended up winning the game in overtime. But, I mean, Philadelphia outplayed them for 80% of the game.
Yeah, they've outplayed a lot of teams this year. Like their 5-5 numbers are good. They don't give up a lot of quality chances.
The effort is there every night, and that
Yeah.
often, I mean, every player in the NHL is good. I mean, every team is good and has really good players. It comes down to mindset. It comes down to will. And if you're playing on for John Tortorella, you're going to show effort or you're not going to play, and he doesn't give a shit who you are.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I don't think we'll see a lot of offense just because of what we talked about with Washington. I like Hart's game. I like the Flyers 5-5 game. I think this total is 5.5. So it's tough to kind of get. I kind of dig it though. Like plus 100 under 5.5. I could see a 2-1 game. I could see a 3-2 game. I like Forster for a point though, at plus 105, and I like Atkinson for 3 shots. Yeah, Hammerhead Union's on it as well. 3-2 here. Philly bet the draw. He says he likes the under as well. Yeah, Charlie Lindgren, man, the Habs probably should have hung on to him. St. Cloud, pretty solid showing for him so far this season. Let's go to Minnesota. We got Calgary and the Wild here. You're wearing the Kaprizov jersey. I'll let you take it away. You got Kaprizov for a hat trick tonight?
I do not have him for a hat trick, but I definitely have him scoring. He's part of the Maniac parlay. I've got Kadri at 230 and Sharon Govich. Look at Sharon Govich at 350. This is another guy that I love to pick on right now because of where he's playing on the second line, and most importantly, playing on the second or the first power play. I think they're finally realizing, like, look, man, this guy's a really good player, really good offensive player, and he needs to be playing a ton of minutes. And that's what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. I like Sharon Govich in New Jersey. I thought it was a good grab for the Calgary Flames. I still don't think the Calgary Flames are a great team, but Sharon Govich is a really good bet to score tonight, mostly because of the odds and because of the minutes he's going to play and who he's going to play with. Minnesota side, like I said, Kaprizov at 130, and I'm going to go Zuccarello at 230.
Nice. I like Boldy. I think this is one of the guys that has benefited from the coaching change. He's got 7 goals in the season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have come since the coaching change has happened. Isn't that remarkable? That's what we're talking about earlier with St. Louis. Maybe they just like Jordan Kyrou all of a sudden gets going because we know his Boldy's got the upside to score 40 goals. And the fact that 6 of his 7 have come since that coaching change, and the Wild have won 4 of the 6 since the coaching change as well. I like him tonight. I mean, the point is juiced at minus 155 for an anytime goal. He's plus 210 over at FanDuel. The shots are also juiced, but I think he gets 3 tonight. Either way, I think maybe worth it just to get in on the point or the goal as opposed to the shots, because shot props have just been, there's been stat corrections. There's been a lot of unders. We talked the other day about, missing the net and things like that, but it seems like all excuses at this point. But Matt Boldy tonight, and I like Marco Rossi for a point as well with those two guys, right? You just called, you got Kaprizov for a goal, and you have Zuccarello for a goal, so we can go Marco Rossi for a point there. He's plus 115.
He's been really good.
Yeah, he's clearly getting an opportunity here with this Wild squad, right? He was a top pick, and he's had some off ice issues. I think he battled COVID. I think I read something in the Athletic that he battled COVID there for a bit. But yeah, he's been pretty good. If you look at the back of the game log here, he's got points in 8 of his last 12 games. Not too bad. Plus 114 over at DraftKings for a point. He's actually plus 220 for the assist. Maybe a little bit of a sprinkle there for him. The shot props at 1.5, but I don't really love that one. Who do you think wins the game?
I'm going to go Minnesota at home here. They need to start stringing some wins together here. And I believe in them more than I believe in Calgary.
I think the Flames are going to blow it up here pretty soon.
Yep.
Okay, Detroit at home, plus 145. Carolina Hurricanes, minus 169. Oh, yeah, Patrick Kane is back. We didn't get a chance to talk about that, you and I. He is back. He is He looks okay. It looks actually
Yeah,
okay. He's getting a
I
lot of
don't
ice
think
time.
he's like prime Chicago Patrick Kane. I mean, that
No, of course not.
hip
He's not a
resurfacing
prolific
surgery, like Backstrom had, I think, the same thing, and he came back and just said, "No,
Kessler.
I can't do it." Kessler,
Kessler
same
too.
thing.
Couldn't do it.
So the fact that he looks this good already, he was sure, right? I mean, when they interviewed him, he's saying like, "No, I'm going to be the player that I was." They all have to. They all think that, no matter what age. I mean, like Patrick Kane is, as a person who's seen him in person, he's a tiny human being and is just
Oh yeah.
literally, I mean, for the last decade, been one of the best offensive players in the league. I think he makes Detroit way, way better. Sucks about Larkin getting hurt the way he did just when they finally get Kane. But I think Detroit is improved. Carolina they're in the mud, man. And again, I go back to like playing this style of hockey and how long that this group of players has played this style of hockey. They're one of the very few teams that shoots the puck from the perimeter from low danger chances over and over and over, are constantly chasing the puck. And it's just an exhausting way to play hockey. And I get Rob Brindamore is a lunatic and is in great shape, and that's how he played. But not every player in the NHL can play that way. They don't have the body or the genetics or even the will to play like that. And I think we're seeing that happen. I got Jarvis and Tara Vinen to score for them, and Detroit, I got DeBrincat and Raymond.
Good news for Larkin. He was skating with the team this morning. I don't think he's going to play, but that's good news to see him on the ice. And JT Compher is going to return tonight, and he should center Kane and DeBrincat. He's minus 105 for a point, so kind of interesting. I like Carolina tonight. I mean, they had that closed door meeting. I agree. There's definitely some issues. They can't get a save. For the most part, they're still playing the same type of style of hockey. They're generating a bunch of chances, most of them from the outside. Their defense are still kind of leading the way in terms of all their shot attempts, but they're not getting really any goaltending. But I thought they played pretty decent the other night against Ottawa. I put them in the tracker. I didn't know JT Compher was going to play. That does help a little bit because Detroit has been down their top two centers for a couple games. But I did put Carolina in the tracker to win in 60. I may have to sweat that one out. I like the Teuvo Teravainen call. He's plus money for a point. Natchez is also plus money for a point, and Seth Jarvis is right around minus 110 for a point. So it's good value on those three players inside the top six to pick up a point. And Detroit has played to a lot of overs. We just talked earlier, like they've scored the most goals in the NHL, but they also haven't been getting the goaltending either. It's been pretty hit or miss with some of their players. Husso was good at the start, not as great lately. So anyways, I like Carolina there. Final game of the night here is in Seattle. We have Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks heading to Seattle to take on the Kraken. Seattle in 60 is another one that I put in. I think that was I got the best number, I believe, over at Bet365, minus 140. It's a little bit of juice there. Kraken have last year was, lucky. You could say only team that had a shooting percentage over 10%. Now this year, it's kind of like it's corrected itself, so to speak. They're still not getting great goaltending, but I like them against the Blackhawks, man. The Blackhawks basically have an AHL defensive squad at the moment. Bedard's having a great season. He's been good. I think he's lived up to expectations and then some. He's had some really nice moments in the NHL, but he doesn't have a whole lot working with him at the moment. Like their big acquisition to get Anthony Beauvillier just to get him an NHL player to play with is, it's not ideal. So I like the Kraken tonight. I like McCann to score, and I like Oliver Bjorkstrand. Those are my two guys, and I'm not going to even bother with the Blackhawks. If there's somebody, it's probably Bedard, but I'm not going to bother. I don't think. I think I like the under in this game.
Yeah, I think Seattle wins here tonight. I got McCann and Beniers. I don't know who else to pick. This, I mean, not a super compelling game offensively.
No.
And Chicago, I mean, of course, I'm taking Bedard. He's plus 195. And this is another starred player that I put in, Ty Radish, playing on the second line and playing on the left side on the top power play at plus 300. I'm going to make a $1 bet with Vorkunov, Sharangovich, and Radish to score because the
That's
odds would be insane.
It's like 17-1 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it could turn into something. So That's I got those 3 players starred, and it's just because of the odds and because of where they're playing. You know what? I'm going to add Forster in there as a four-way parlay that I'm going to do. Vorkunov, Forster, Sharangovich, and Ty Radish all to score for $1. And
oh baby,
maybe I'm very happy.
You'll be able to go buy a New Jersey and hopefully it's a Flyers Forster
or a bunch. And my wife cuts my throat in my sleep because she's tired of it.
They have too many jerseys, right? I like that Jared McCann's on the top line. I hate that they keep moving him around. Like I said this on Tuesday's episode when you weren't here. It's like Yamamoto.
He's your best player.
Why is Yamamoto playing on the top line? Like, come on, man. You want to get Matty Beniers going here? Like, get Yamamoto off the top line. Stop playing on the top power play. I don't get it. Anyways, McCann minus 145 for 3 shots is obviously just getting carried away here. I'd rather take the point at minus 145, maybe the Apple at plus 185. Yes, free Jared McCann. Let's get this guy going here. Oh my goodness, you're playing him on the second line with like Wenberg. Like, come on, you want to get Matty Beniers going? Let's go. Get these guys back together on the line. Their power plays are always just mixed up, but the most consistent line has been Tolvanen, Bjorkstrand, and Yanni Gourde. That's been the line. Consider them in DFS. Consider maybe a point for Bjorkstrand and for Ellie Tolvanen over at Bet365. All right, man. So we did it. We obviously went a little long here with your return. I'll go with some sides here, flip it over to you for some goal scorers, and we'll get out of here. So I do like the Leafs tonight, but we can't get really involved with that. I'm not confident in them to win on the puck line. Could maybe consider them in 60. But I am going to go with, I like the Panthers here tonight. This should be a fun one. Florida and Vancouver. I like Florida and the over. I like the Kraken in 60. What I have in the tracker is the Kraken in 60, the Hurricanes in 60. Like those are the 2 teams that I am backing tonight. I think you could even maybe go Seattle puck line if you wanted to at plus 110 for them on home ice this evening. I like goals between the Lightning and the Oilers, like the over 6.5 there. I am on Minnesota at home, and I am on the Philadelphia Flyers at home at minus 134 for totals. I do like the under in that Washington and Philadelphia game. And I like the under between Minnesota and Calgary. And I like the under between the Kraken and the Chicago Blue. Oh my goodness, I almost called them Chicago Blue Jackets. Chicago Blackhawks at plus money there. You got some goals? You got some.
I do.
Here we go, folks. Got some goals.
I'm finishing up my my little 4-way weirdo parlay there. But here we go. These are the goal scorers I got for today. We've got Marashenko, Vorkunov, Matthews, Marner, Ovi, Oshie, Konechny, Forrester, Jarvis, Teravainen, DeBrincat, Raymond, Kachuk, Stützle, Kyrou, Buchnevich, Kadri, Sharangovich, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, Kucherov, Stamkos, McDavid, Kane, Reinhart, Kachuk, Pedersen, Besser, Bedard, Radish, McCann, Beniers. The 8-way Maniac Parlay goes as follows. Matthews, McDavid, Ovi, Stützle, Sharangovich, Kaprizov, Matthews, Marashenko, Ovi, Stützle, Sharangovich, Kaprizov, McDavid, and Besser. And then my little 4-way that I also did for $1. I'm going to tell you what that pays out here. It's plus 43,093, which is pretty good. $1 will give me $430. It's in.
It's in. You got it. I love it.
It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough, Evan, to bet a guy with minus money, right? You kind of have to do some sort of parlay, and that's what the books want you to do, parlay it. So you get 7 for 8, and it backfires there. I got not as many goal scorers here for you guys. The thing with the Leafs is there really just isn't a lot of value with their guys. Like,
right.
With Matthews or William Nylander or, maybe John Tavares, Mitch Marner's been scoring lately. He's probably, without looking, I'd say Marner probably has the best odds to score. And we love the matchup. The Leafs are playing pretty good, good form at the moment. And the Blue Jackets they're struggling, and they're without Boone Jenner, who I think is a pretty good defensive forward that they're missing here tonight. I like Jordan Kyrou, Josh Norris, Matt Boldy, Carter Verhaeghe. I like Brock Besser, but I'm going to go with JT Miller. JT Miller tonight and Jared McCann. So not quite as much as EY here. We got Kyrou 1, Norris 2, Boldy 3, Verhaeghe 4, JT Miller 5, Jared McCann 6. Let's get somebody in that Carolina and Detroit game. TiVo comes to mind, but Martin Necas scored the other night. He's just been so darn quiet.
He's been quiet forever, and he's such a good player. It doesn't make sense.
It just takes one or two, man, to get going. You've seen it with Boldy. It just takes one. So maybe he can build off that one. So we'll go Kyrou, Norris, Boldy, Verhaeghe, JT Miller, McCann, and Martin Necas. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I were to pick an 8, it would be a Leaf. I'm gonna go with Marner. I mean, I do have Matthews on the sheet, but at minus money, Evan, can't fix the car with that, right? So maybe we can go. Maybe we can go with Marner there. Parlaying is where you get burned. Absolutely, you can't be doing 8 parlays. What are we doing here? That wasn't an 8-leg maniac parlay. That was a 75 maniac parlay.
Right.
Yeah. Good news.
I'm not telling anyone to do what I do. It's just not a smart thing, but it's fun for me. It's fun for the show. An 8-way maniac parlay rhymes, so it's really cool.
Yeah. I think that the Bills probably win as well, but I have this feeling that the Eagles lose in Seattle. I think the Eagles lose in Seattle. They've lost 7 straight to Seattle. Seattle's not a great place to play. There's a lot going on. If it's Geno Smith, it could be bad news. If it's Drew Lock, maybe we'll squeak one out, but we'll see. Can you repeat the 8? Okay, can you repeat it for Emmerich?
Yeah, I stumbled on it there. Matthews, Marashenko, Ovi, Stutzla, Sharangovich, Kaprizov, McDavid, Besser.
And we're going here on my end. Kyrou, Norris, Boldy, Verhaeghe, Miller, McCann, Necas. We'll go Mitch Marner. We'll go a little bit of Mitch Marner there. For some props tonight, I'm kind of staying away from shot props. Oh, I forgot Mort Sider. There's a couple that I have in the tracker. So I have, for some props, Josh Norris for a point, Teuvo Teravainen for a point. I got Matthews for 2 points. I am drinking a little bit of the juice here with Moritz Seider at minus 143. I think he could be in play for 3 shots, over at 365 or FanDuel. You get plus money for the 3 shots, logging a lot of ice time, shooting the puck like a psycho. I really like where his game's at. Josh Norris for 3 shots. I got Jordan Kyrou for a point. I got Alexander Barkov for 3 shots. A couple other things that I wrote down here tonight. So McCann for a point as well. I like JT Compher for a point. Matt Boldy for a point. I got Barkov for an assist, Bouchard for an assist, Nugent Hopkins for an assist, and Hyman for 4 shots. There's a lot going on there. 8 games on the ice. Free article over at ftnbets.com. Check it out. ftndaily.com as well for the DFS article tonight. We went super long, but it's nice to have EY back. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good luck on the ice. Good luck in your fantasy football semifinal matchups. Hopefully you guys punch your ticket to, I guess it would be the quarters, punch your ticket to the semis or whatever weird leagues you guys are playing in. Just get it done and extend your season. And we'll be back here on Tuesday to recap what will probably be another busy night in the NHL. Maybe take a look at the futures market. We'll dive in. As we get closer to 2024, we can take a look at pretenders, contenders. Maybe we'll find some odds on some teams that are outside the playoff spot looking in that we think could potentially get in. From the Eric Young, myself, Chris Meaney. Appreciate you guys. Smash the like button, rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend. But most of all, win some bucks tonight. That 8 leg, it's going to happen. Cheers.